Hey guys, welcome back to Click Academics. In today's video, we're going to be comparing two values and finding out which value is greater than the other. So for the left-hand side, we have 2 to the power of 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 2. And for the right-hand side, we have 4 to the power of 4,444. So now I'm going to compare these two values and find out which one is greater. So to start off, for my left-hand side, we're going to start from the top and work our way to the bottom. So we have 2 squared, which is 4. So we get 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. And we're still comparing this to 4 to the power of 4,444. Now, I'm going to rewrite 4 to the power of 4,444 as 2 squared to the power of 4,444. So I get 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. And for my right-hand side, I have 2 squared to the power of 4,444. And the reason I rewrote 4 as 2 squared is so now these two have the same bases, and it's much easier to compare them that way. So I'm going to be using a property of exponents that states that if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So 2 squared to the power of 4,444 is equal to 2 to the power of 2 times 4,444. And this is equal to 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4. It's equal to 2 to the power of 8,888. Sorry, this shouldn't be an equal sign, this should be a versus sign. Because we're comparing the two values, they're not equal to each other. Now, because both of these have the same bases, if I have something in the form a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n, this means that m is equal to n. So we can just ignore our bases here and just focus on our exponents, which for our left-hand side is 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4, and for the right-hand side is 8,888. So I get 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 4, and I'm comparing this to 8,888. Now, to make this simpler, I'm going to do 2 to the power of 4, which is 16, so I get 2 to the power of 16 on my left-hand side, and I'm comparing this with 8,888. Now, what a lot of people would do is actually try and do 2 to the power of 16. So they would multiply 2 by itself 16 times. Now, this is a pretty dumb approach because this takes way too long, but I'll just do it. So we have 2 times 2, which is 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8 times 2, 16, 60 times 2, 32, 32 times 2, 64, 64 times 2, 128, 128 times 2, 256, 256 times 2, 512, 512 times 2, 1,024, 1,024 times 2, 2,048, 2,048 times 2, 4,096. So we have 4,096 times 2, which is 8,192. And we have this times 2, which is 16,384. And we have this times 2, 16,384 times 2, which is 32,768. And then we have this times 2, which is 65,536. So we get 2 to the power of 16 is 65,536, which is greater than 8,888. But instead of doing all of this, which takes way too long and is much too time consuming, there is a simpler method to find which one is greater. And there's actually more than one, but 8,888 I can rewrite as 8 times 1,111. And 8 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 3. So I get 2 to the power of 16 and 2 to the power of 3 times 1,111. Now, 2 to the power of 16 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 3 plus 13. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So 2 to the power of 3 plus 13 is equal to 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 13. And I'm comparing this to 2 to the power of 3 times 111. And notice how both of these sides have 2 to the power of 3 in them. So we can just ignore them, or in a sense, cancel them out. And now we're just comparing 2 to the power of 13 and 1,111. Now, 2 to the power of 10, as most of you should know, is 1,024. So 2 to the power of 11 is double of 1,024, which is 2,048. 2 to the power of 12 is double of 2,048, which is 4,096. And 2 to the power of 13 is double of 4,096, which is 8,192. So I'm comparing 8,192 with 1,111, and clearly 8,192 is greater. So, going back, this means that 2 to the power of 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 2 is greater than 4 to the power of 4,444. So this is my solution to this problem. Now, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and send this to any of your friends or family to see if they can solve it. Thank you.